Why major or minor in medieval studies? For me, the answer is simple. It's because of how interdisciplinary our program is. It's because our distribution requirements really force students to take courses in a variety of different fields and to really learn to ask different types of questions, to think in different ways about the Middle Ages. You know, historians, art historians, scholars of literature, philosophers, theologians, we all work with medieval sources. Sometimes we even may be reading the same types of texts, but we always ask different questions. We don't always agree on our interpretations. Um, but the wonderful thing about medieval studies is because it's so interdisciplinary, we do engage with each other. We talk to each other. And so the medieval studies major and minor is really an opportunity for students to join a serious conversation that takes place across the university in many different departments about how to read texts, about how to interpret evidence, about what types of questions we ask in different fields. And so to me, that's the best thing about medieval studies.
Studying the Middle Ages is important for several different reasons. For those of you who have seen Game of Thrones, for example, you will already know how much the Middle Ages structures our own popular culture. I have here on the screen two screenshots from very recent popular video games, Witcher 3 and AC Valhalla. And so, if you take my Intro to Reformation Art class, you'll be able to identify the paintings in the Witcher 3 screenshot and think about the ways in which they're related to changing gender roles in this period. And at the same time, if you take my Intro to Medieval Art class, you'll be able to identify for all of your friends on Discord the anachronistic figural tomb sculpture pictured here, which actually didn't come into existence for about another 400 years. Even more crucially, medieval studies has become an arena where a lot of important work has been done about thinking about the roots of white supremacy and racism, which, as we all know, is a pressing issue here in the United States still. And there's been a lot of recent work lately talking about how white supremacist groups have been appropriating, or I should actually say misappropriating, motifs from the Middle Ages to support their own false narratives of the past that uphold their heinous ideologies. And so, learning about the Middle Ages is especially important now in the 21st century as we're confronted on the public stage with people who are abusing that past. And learning how to confront those motifs and become better informed about where these stem from, this makes us not only better citizens of our university community, but of the world itself.
There are two main reasons why I think the medieval studies major and minor are terrific. The first is that they're both very interdisciplinary. Students are asked to take courses in a wide range of areas. The second is that the major and minor are totally customizable. No courses are prescribed as such, and so this allows every student to design a course of study that aligns with their interests and that excites them.
I think a major or a minor in medieval studies gives students an opportunity to connect with the past and also to navigate its obscurities. What do I mean by that? I mean, when you stand before a work of medieval art or page through a medieval manuscript, not only to understand what it means or understand its references or its sources or its date or its context, but also to appreciate its difference, its distance, its alterity, its relation to the present. And medieval studies, major or minor, will begin to give you the tools to work through that kind of temporal distance and also dive into the particularities and the details that constitute that obscurity.
Medieval studies majors tend to be very hands-on. They give you not only a very sort of theoretical or reading-based experience, but also a kind of hands-on experience in terms of going to museums, going to research libraries, doing paleography, doing things that seem very arcane and difficult to do, but that are actually take practice to master. and that those practical skills are available to you as a medieval studies major or minor?
You know, the quarter is short, as I'm sure you've noticed. And so it can be a lot to sort of be a student dropped into the medieval period and kind of trying to find your footing, trying to understand the issues that were important to medieval people. So to me, especially in the quarter system, thinking about putting a little bit of a commitment, a little time commitment into gaining a knowledge of the Middle Ages enables you to ask deeper questions, enables you to actually kind of move across these sources and draw these connections, think about research topics. So I would love to see people taking up that opportunity.
Students in medieval studies at the University of Chicago are supported by a faculty who come from fields like literary studies, art history, history, and religious studies, and who are deeply invested in thinking about the inextricability of the Middle Ages from other historical periods. What that means is that students are able to gain an understanding of the ways that medieval forms of life, cultural production, political forms, and modes of thought have impacted the modern era. Now, in addition, given the faculty's expertise in researching contemporary medievalisms, students are also able to gain the skill of approaching critically the reappropriations of the Middle Ages by political projects complicit in histories of both violence and of liberation.